presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are South.
Last night, Julio Teheran was outstanding again, and 8 hits from the heart of the order was just what the Braves needed to shake off their recent struggles. Tonight, we've got another pitcher's duel. The Cubs' Jeff Samardzija carries Major League Baseball's second-best ERA, while the Braves' Irvin Santana faces the Cubs for the first time in his big league career. It's Saturday Night Baseball. It's the Cubbies and the Braves, and Game 2 is next. Rain, rain, go away. We don't want to see any of that precipitation here at Turner Field, where a big crowd is gathering for a Saturday night special with the Chicago Cubs. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Braves got back in the win column last night. They beat the Cubs in Game 1 of the series. 3-2 was the final score. Excellent starting pitching by Julio Teheran. We hope that continues in Game 2 tonight. Hi again, friends, with Joe Simpson and John Smoltz. Chip Carey, welcome back to the ballpark, where the weather forecast isn't particularly good. We are expecting some rain showers here in the next 30 to 45 minutes. Hopefully, though, that won't delay proceedings too long for another good pitching matchup tonight. First for the Cubs, Jeff Samardzija looks for some run support and an ever-elusive win, John.
Well, there's no doubt he's looking for some run support, but if he keeps up his current pace, it's going to even out. He has been flat-out nasty. His statistics speak for himself, but his record does not. And for the Braves, you're going to have to take advantage of whatever he gives you. If he's off a little bit, you must take advantage of those mistakes, because he has owned the opponent's batting average against right-handers and left-handers. It doesn't matter. Look at that number. He has been absolutely what the Cubs want, minus the fact he has no wins.
He's winless, but the Braves starter, Joe, is undefeated. Irvin Santana gets the ball after a bit of a layoff in rotation for Atlanta.
He's not too bad himself, but it has been 10 days, really 9 days since Irvin pitched, so the question might be, well, will he start off maybe a little too amped up? Hopefully not. He's had good command since the beginning of the season when he joined the Braves, with a good slider, an excellent changeup, and, of course, good life on his fastball, too. So the Braves are expecting good things from Irvin tonight, who, through his first 5 starts, a 2.41 ERA and more than 1 strikeout per inning pitched.
This game might come down to run support. Let's hope the Braves get some for Irvin Santana as he tries to win his 4th game of the season tonight. Run support was a big part of the game last night for Braves third baseman Chris Johnson. New contract, new approach to the plate. Certainly much better results of late for the man who's manning the hot corner. And Tom Hart will tell you more about that right after this.
Oso Blanco, Evan Gattis, the battery tonight as the Cubs battle the Braves in Game 2. Goal number 1 may be to beat back Mother Nature with threatening skies above. Hello, everybody. I'm Tom Hart. Welcome back to Turner Field. This is a Braves team which has been searching for some offense, especially with runners in scoring position. Last night they got it. They got it in a big way for a young man who's having a fantastic month of May. Yeah, this is our Yellowwood bringing the lumber. And this is a third baseman who's coming to his own in the month of May. It's a great month. You got Mother's Day, the Kentucky Derby, Indy 500, and Chris Johnson's bat. Last 8 games of April, he was just 2 for 23. The first 8 games of May, he's hitting .355. He's driven in 3, and he's 4 for 7 with runners in scoring position. That includes 2 for 2 last night and a 3 for 4 night. The key for Chris Johnson, his batting average and balls in play has gone through the roof in the month of May. He looks to keep that going again today. It should be a fantastic pitching matchup. The guys upstairs have already told you about it. Ervin Santana and Jeff Samardzija going head-to-head, trying to beat each other, and the raindrops. Play-by-play is coming up right after this.
Ervin Santana leads the charge for the Braves to the center of the Turner Field Diamond here in Atlanta for Game 2 of our series. The Cubs and the Atlanta Braves. Here's how the Cubbies line up for Game 2. Their Toyota starting 9 features Emilio Bonifacio leading off. Kalish, Rizzo, and Castro in the top 4. Luis Valbuena is in at second base. Our first look at Wellington Castillo behind the plate. Mike Oltz homered here last night. Junior Lake is in left. And the hard-throwing right-hander Jeff Samardzija will pitch in bat 9.
Well, when you want to see what kind of year a guy's having, look at those stats. Doesn't matter where he pitches, home or the road. Opponent's batting average, home 222, on the road 221. You see that. Really doesn't matter left or right-handed, similar averages. But this guy gets nastier when there's a runner on second and runners in scoring position, and especially with 2 outs. So we're in for a really, really good pitching duel.
His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Number 1, it's been 9 days since he pitched. We just talked about, will he have his good command, or will he be a little bit amped up and an overthrow a little bit here in his first inning or 2. And Bonifacio, his first batter of the night. He's a guy who's got to keep off the bases. The Braves did a good job of that last night. Controlled him, controlled their running game and their ability to manufacture runs.
One of the big concerns tonight is the weather forecast. Joe had his weather radar pop up on the phone a second ago, and there's a big storm cell approaching Metro Atlanta and, of course, Turner Field.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of all around us.
But let's get about 7 innings in the first hour or so, and then see what happens.
And you are an optimistic soul. I love it. Here's Bonifacio, and we are underway with the ball outside.
I'm also opportunistic.
Oh man, you guys are professionals.
We just like getting on you.
This might be a good night for the all-weather team. We can explain as the game goes on certain components of what makes up the all-weather team.
Are we going to? Never mind. 2 balls and a strike. Are we going to talk about the fans participating or precipitating?
Well, I learned to keep it simple, stupid, ever since I tried to use.
Hey, don't be calling me stupid. 2 balls and a strike, and that one caught a corner 2-2.
Well, just to give you an example, David Hale should pitch on a night like this when the weather is.
That'll set the tone.
Yeah.
That's fouled back to the screen by Bonifacio. He's been a nice find for the Cubs out of a leadoff spot, but he's had some tough times of late. 2 hits in his last 23 at bats. Started the season with a .348 batting average. He was 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts last night. And he's making Santana work in the game's first at bat.
No, we documented what these teams have been doing and how they're struggling to score runs in the last 10 games in each lineup. Only one guy in the 300s coming into this series.
2 clubs really struggling with their team batting averages. The Cubs 14th in hitting at .227 as a club, but they've actually outscored the Braves by 23 runs this year. They've hit 30 homers. Atlanta's hit 34. But the Braves team ERA a run better than Chicago's. And a looper into right field will drop for a hit for Bonifacio. A good at bat for the Cubs leadoff man. And one of Joe's keys is in play very early. A leadoff single.
Change up.
Looked like it. Either that or the change up. Not a horrible pitch, just good hitting. He fouled off a lot of good pitches and got the pitch he wanted and pulled it between first and second. It's crazy in this game. Not every good pitch produces an out. Not every bad pitch gives up a hit.
Here's Ryan Kalish. He started in left field last night. And Kalish is the man that provided the big hit in the 9th inning against Craig Kimbrell. A single to left that brought home Chris Coghlan with the tying run. He was at second base with 1 out in the 9th inning, but the Cubs couldn't bring him home, and Atlanta won it in 10. Bouncing ball slowly toward Pasternicki. Simmons glides across the bag and turns the double play.
When you're not out there every day at second base or at shortstop for that matter, if you're a middle infielder, you know, you really got to take your ground balls, work on your timing and your feeds, and that was a very good feed on the second batter of the game for Tyler.
So the double play clears the bases for Santana. That'll bring up Anthony Rizzo. He's the Cubs' first baseman. Rizzo was 0 for 4 last night. And Anthony's evens the count.
Okay, the tempo of these last 2 pitchers for the Braves, and for the most part their whole staff, they get the ball and they're ready to go. They're keeping their infields fresh. There's no messing around. Get the ball, get back on, and let's go.
That's fisted out towards second. Pasternicki to his right, fields and fires and gets Rizzo by a couple of steps. Santana's first inning is in the books. The Braves go to work against Jeff Samardzija. Scoreless game. Bonifacio with an 8-pitch at bat for the Cubs has the game's first hit, but nothing came of that in the top of the inning. The Braves Toyota starting nine has Freddie Freeman back in there hitting third. He wears out the Cubs, and Freeman had the game-ending hit last night in the 10th inning. You see Santana 8th, and Tyler Pasternack may get some extended playing time. He'll hit 9th and play second tonight.
Well, for the Braves, a lot of pressure on the two left-handers in the lineup because the left-handers, according to the statistics, have a better chance of possibly getting a hit than the right-handers do. This guy's got all kinds of stuff that he's going to be throwing tonight.
His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. He's really improved on his first pitch strikes. He's getting ahead of hitters, something he didn't do a lot of in the past. And you're going to see a lot of fastballs, anywhere from 91 to 98 from this guy tonight. He's also got a slider and a split, but I'm told he's not throwing his split quite as much as he has in the past.
Jason Hayward is the Braves hitter. He scored the game-ending run last night and takes way high, ball 2. Jason's got a hit in 14 of the last 18 Braves games. His average, you see, at .211. And now way outside for Hayward. 3 balls and a strike. No wins for Samardzija dating back to last August. That's 13 starts between victories for the Cubs right-hander. And Hayward pops up a 3-1 pitch. And Starlin Castro is there and makes the play. I'm not sure if Mike Oltz at third base ever saw that ball. He was looking for help, and Castro was there to bail him out. 1 down.
Samardzija's been so good. He's failed to go at least 7 innings and only 1 start so far out of his first 7. And in that one, he went 5 2/3. Kind of had a Tehran type start last night. His last start, he went 9 innings and got a no decision.
Justin Upton's the batter. The Cubs elected to walk him intentionally in the 10th inning with nobody out to pitch to Freddie Freeman with the left-hander Wesley Wright. And it really was a pick your poison situation for Rick Renteria, the Cubs manager. We'll explain on that in a second. As Upton swings and misses. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, active walk-off RBI leaders in baseball. Freddie Freeman's first with 8, Justin Upton second with 7. So who do you pitch to? Cubs went lefty-lefty. Freeman made him pay. One ball, 2 strikes. And there's the good live fastball at 95 miles an hour. Upton is down on strikes. First for Samardzija, and quickly 2 out. As we enjoy tonight's SunTrust shining moment, it features Freddie Freeman.
Here is that game winner last night on the first pitch from Wesley Wright. Just out of the reach of Bonifacio.
Wright ended up being wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's downstairs for Freddie. 1 ball, no strikes.
I actually thought that would go over a little better than it did.
Well, it went over.
It was okay.
It's just fine. Yeah. The audience has to ease into it a bit.
Probably force feeding a little too much too early, right?
There's a high fly ball deep right field. Kalish is back, and he's going to have room shy of the track, and that retires the side. That might have been a home run in Chicago, but a deep fly out here in Atlanta, where we are scoreless heading to the second. fans, you want to mark this on your calendars. Andrelton Simmons bobblehead night is coming up Thursday, May 22nd, and it's presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. The first 20,000 fans get to take home this one-of-a-kind souvenir. Get your tickets today at Braves.com/tickets or call 1-800-745-3000. As good as he is defensively, I don't think we can call his doll a bobblehead. He doesn't bobble anything.
No. Good call there.
That'll be a great giveaway for the fans with Milwaukee in town. As Starlin Castro goes to work for the Cubs in the second. He's a .274 hitter with 5 homers and 16 knocked in. And he swings the first pitch and hammers it deep left, and it's over the head of Upton. The ball ricochets off his body and the fence, and Castro ends up at second base with a leadoff double.
Boy, that ball jumped. I didn't know it would stay in the ballpark. Fortunate that it did.
This is just a hitter that better executes. The pitch was right where they wanted it to in the inner part of the plate, but he went up there determined to sit on fastball, got it, and almost deposited it.
Well, it did bring rain.
Fans in the lower bowl starting to make their way to the concourse to escape the wet weather as Valbuena stands in. And he yanks one foul. Look out, folks. It's 0-1. To the right side. There's a good fundamental at bat. Productive out for Valbuena. Castro to third, 1 away.
Some guys can make it look real easy.
So Wellington Castillo becomes the key man in the inning for Chicago. He's their catcher. Castillo's been a real clutch hitter for the Cubs this year. 12 of his 15 RBIs have come with 2 outs in an inning. Here there's only 1 man down.
He had a good year last year for the Cubs. 113 games. Hit .274 with 8 homers.
With a tough pitcher on the mound and struggling scoring runs, you'd be tempted to bring the infield in. But they're choosing to bring it back because you got to have some confidence that you're more than capable of scoring 2 and 3 runs. But in some cases, you know, depending on the situation and who's up there, you might bring the infield in. Here they're trading it out for a run.
But don't count out a strikeout of Castillo either. As this ball's popped up. Pasternicki, I don't think he sees it, needs some help. Hayward is there and makes the play, and no advance. Pasternicki never saw that ball and was hollering at Hayward, and I'm sure looking over his shoulder too. That's how Tyler got hurt last year.
In just about that same general area. You can see Tyler looking for help. But fortunately, Jason Hayward had a beat on it.
The point I was going to make about Castillo, he's got the second highest strikeout total among the Cubs offensive players. No strikeout, but a pop out. That'll bring up Mike Olt, the Chicago third baseman.
We saw him jump on a fastball, but he had some problems with Tehran's slider last night. Just got a fastball to kind of stand him up. Let's see if they come back with a breaker.
Little dribbler, and Santana with a clean throw will be out of it. Good play by Irvin Santana to pitch around a lead-off double in the Cubs' second. Count the raindrops, folks. Santana and the Cubs scoreless.
Nanny.
Grammy. Anna. Best seat in the house. They're trying to stay dry as the rain is picked up here in Atlanta. And when Gaddis starts things off against Samardzija, and that's up and in. 1 ball, no strikes.
Try to give you 1 per inning. Of course, Tim Raines is on the all-weather team. As we see the rain falling down. I will not use that big word.
Gaddis drives 1 deep left. And on the warning track, Junior Lake makes the play.
I love that kind of response. Guy gets dusted in the next pitch. He didn't quite hit it out, but he let the pitcher know that he is not going to be intimidated. Off-speed pitch, too.
Chris Johnson is the hitter. He's got a hot streak working again for Atlanta. He's got his average back up to 262. Inside out swing, rolled foul, no balls, 2 strikes. Samardzija's tough enough to hit when the weather is perfect. How in the world do you try to hit this guy's stuff, Joe, with all the rain and the water dripping off the bill of the cap?
Yeah, Chris just did what you got to do, and that's wipe the water off the helmet bill. Last thing you need is some parade of raindrops falling off your helmet as you're trying to focus on the pitch.
Well, it does flatten out a little bit the kind of stuff a pitcher can have when it's raining because of the grip of the baseball and just the elements. So sometimes it can work against the pitcher who relies on spinning balls, throwing split fingers.
Base hit the other way for Chris. First of the night for Atlanta. He's aboard with 1 out.
Fastball up. And staying with his good approach the other way.
So Chris Johnson with a 4-game hit streak, 7 hits in his last 13 at bats. Sets the stage for B.J. Upton. Braves center fielder last night was 0 for 4. He struck out 3 times.
I wore glasses for a lot of my career before I went to contact, so I can certainly empathize with BJ tonight, or Freddie Freeman defensively when he wears his goggles. Need some windshield wipers.
Just missed outside, even count.
You know what I hated the most, though, standing in the rain when they're waiting to call it or you're going to play through it, is I hated my glove getting wet. I'd do everything I could to keep it dry, either under my arm. There's a windshield wiper. Stick it inside my jersey. But I hated it getting wet.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, everything's affected in every way. Your footing as fielders, pitching mound, you watch that, make sure it doesn't get glassy. Your landing foot doesn't start sliding more than it normally would hit, spin, and move.
Upton takes a call, 3rd strike, and looks back at Andy Fletcher. He's out number 2.
PNC pitching performance. tracks. Good pitch. Good call. This guy used to be max effort on every pitch, John. When he first came to the big leagues and was working out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
I mean, you could hear him grunting and every pitch, just throwing it as hard as he possibly could. And while he still throws hard, he looks like he's learned to pitch a little bit. He's got better mechanics where he doesn't have to throw 98 every time, and he's getting good results because of it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a broken record, but for most pitchers, when they stay on top and have the mechanics they have, they're going to be effective.
Mile high pop up by Simmons. Valbuena in at second base. And he's there to put the squeeze on it and retire Atlanta in the second. Chris Johnson has Atlanta's lone hit. We go to the third.
AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and Ford. Well, this is the kind of game that former Major Leaguer David Weathers would really.
There you're getting the hang of it.
Appreciate.
Very well. He'd be the manager, or he'd be basically he's the name of the team.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
But here's what we talked about. It's starting to gloss over. When it does, they're going to put some diamond dry out there and make sure the most important person that is affected first and foremost is the pitcher. He has to have his footing, and you cannot feel like that ground underneath you is going to allow you to slide in any way. You've got to be able to put that foot and plant it down.
See how fast that cart from the grounds crew got out here, doing a little work at home plate too. I agree, John, that the pitcher is most important, but nobody really cares about the center fielder, whether or not he might slip or not.
Well, I'm just saying it starts with the pitcher first, and then you got the hitter, probably the next most important thing, and his feet at the box. That's kind of where I was going.
How many pairs of shoes would you go through in a game like this, Joe?
How many pairs of what?
Shoes.
Just one. I wouldn't run more than one pair. But the Home Depot tools from the dugout, those guys did great work right there. And now we're going to get a whole horde of groundskeepers out to get the tarp out.
This is usually, we call this a 2 or 3 jersey day. If you're able to pitch through a lot of this, your jersey just gets wet, heavy, and a pitcher's got to go in, switch it out, throw it in the dryer, get a fresh one.
But you know, Chris Van Zandt and Ben Acree in the home clubhouse, and John Holland and Fred Stone on the visitor side will get everything all neat and tidy for the Cubs and the Braves. But we are in a rain delay in Atlanta. No score after 2 innings. Joe, John, and I are back to Turner Field after this.
Jack Wilkinson here in just a moment. The 8-9-1 hitters are coming up for Chicago. We have no score here in game 2 of the series. Braves fans spend Memorial Day weekend here with us at Turner Field with great matchups against the Rockies and the world champion Boston Red Sox. Make sure you get your Braves tickets in advance for Memorial Day weekend. Go to Braves.com/tickets.
Well, the scenario that sets up now is, again, that delay just knocks out an extra inning or two that they may be able to go. But the fact that they're back out is a good sign for each club, as there are 2 pitchers that you want on the mound. Only 22 pitches, but a little bit of sharpness, a little bit of crispness is going to be gone, you would think, because of the rest. It's hard to duplicate, even though you can go into the batting cages and throw. It's hard to keep that edge that you had to start the game.
Especially when Irvin's waited 9 days for this start. You know that he would like to say, hey, I threw a couple of innings in the cages inside. Okay, so, you know, cut me back to 5 innings in the game if you want to. You know, both of these guys would like a run that they can work with and maybe get a win by going 5.
And I think pretty wise here by Santana to make a few pitches out of the stretch, as he says he's ready to go, and so is Junior Lake for the Chicago Cubs.
I'm just impressed that he only needed that. I would have taken a lot more time and used the mound rather than the. I guess you're right, Joe. He indoor warmed up and felt he was close enough and ready that when they had the game time at 8:50, he wouldn't need that much. That's probably what Freddie was talking to the umpires about. Here we are.
So the rain has stopped. We're back to baseball. Junior Lake, then Samardzija, then Emilio Bonifacio for Chicago. No score after 2 innings. And Junior Lake with 3 homers, 8 RBIs, his second at bat of the series. He pinch hit last night at the 10th inning and struck out, and took one upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Official delay time 1 hour and 8 minutes. Now ball 2. John, I was intrigued with what you said. There's obviously some physical discomfort in that you're out of your rhythm, but I'm more interested in the mental part of coming back after an hour delay.
Yeah, it is you do every trick you know, right? You tell yourself every 15 minutes I'm going to get up, I'm going to throw, I'm going to simulate. You're not going to give the same effort, but you're just killing time. And you never just kill time in a baseball game. You're always thinking about the next inning you're going to pitch, or however guys treat it.
Lake Skies 1-2 straightaway center, and PJ Upton's under it, and he's got it for the first out. And Joe, I would assume the same principle applies for the regular players, not the pitchers, because you guys are just as much in the flow of the game as the starting pitcher would be.
They may have been able to take some swings in the cage underneath too, just to stay loose, not to stiffen up. I'm sure everybody, like John said, changed jerseys, may have changed shoes, even socks if their socks were wet, so that they're starting fresh.
Samardzija has a big swing and came up empty. Jeff is 2 out of 16 so far at the plate with 7 strikeouts.
The biggest thing about pitching, especially when you start out, okay, you're not starting out cold, but you get your body core temperature going by however you stretch and jog and then of course throw in the pen. Wow, that was almost Bull Durham right there.
Yeah, it was.
They're working so fast that the bat boy was running behind the umpire as he delivered the pitch. I haven't seen that in a while.
And Samardzija is still alive. That ball was apparently tipped at the plate.
But my point is, naturally it's tougher to keep that core body temperature going as the time sits around you watching. You could even go in and watch some video. You could do different things to get your mind away from it. And so the first inning, I always think, is your biggest challenge after a rain delay.
What, 95. That's about as hard as we've seen him throw in any start.
Another one at 95, and Samardzija, with a taste of his own medicine, is struck out. First strikeout for Santana tonight, and 2 quick outs in the third. Here's Bonifacio. He had an 8-pitch at bat in his first time up, and he singled cleanly to start the game. First career hit by Bonifacio against Santana, and first hit of the series.
Well, whatever Santana has done from his Angels days to the Royals to now, he has really vastly improved the upgrade of his pitches and the command of them. He was a guy that gave up a lot of fly balls and home runs, and he could strike you out. But all his pitches have been up in the plus category so far. And of course, he wasn't able to sign the contract he thought and wanted to. And here he's landed himself here with the Braves and currently having a fine start to his season.
Bouncing ball to first. The first inning for Santana after the rain delay was a piece of cake. 3 up, 3 down in the third. Santana due up first in a scoreless game.
Third inning at Turner Field. Tyler Pasternak batting ninth, threw up second. He told me today in his first at bat he'll have to take it slow to find his timing.
You try to get in there and you try to gain timing quick, especially when you don't have a lot of at bats to go off of, and you try to get in there and get some timing and build upon it throughout your at bats through the rest of the game.
And that's a conundrum of a bench player. Only 2 starts this season for Pasternak, but expected to produce immediately.
Thank you, Tom. And only 10 at bats for Tyler Pasternak so far this year. But that's a number that, quite frankly, could grow in the days and weeks ahead. First an 0-2 pitch to Santana. And Samardzija struck him out looking at a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Samardzija's third strikeout of the game. 1 up, 1 down in the Atlanta third. Still a scoreless game.
We talked about what the players do and rain delay situation, the hitters, and I just got on my Twitter account. They want to know what the announcers do. Chip, I mean, what do you do during big rain delay?
Well, it's a complicated answer, John. First, the pitch to Tyler. It's driven down the right field line, and that one is headed for the seats, foul. I think for me the biggest issue is whether or not the ice cream machine is working. If that's working, life is good. And as you can tell from this body, it works an awful lot. Right?
Joe?
I really don't want to answer that.
Slowly hit toward Olt at third.
I'll just say that I do exactly what Skip used to do. He taught me well, and leave it at that.
Well, I'm fine till the red velvet cake comes out, and then it's over.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any this time.
Yeah, I saw you.
I circled it a few times, but I didn't go in.
Jason Hayward's the batter. He popped out to start the Braves game offensively. An early run would be nice. Let's see who scores first tonight. As Samardzija missed outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
I don't want to confuse people. I really don't have a Twitter account, just in case I'm looking it up.
We can fix that if you want.
No, thank you.
So you tricked us.
Yeah, I did.
1 ball, 1 strike for Jason. Base is empty. Samardzija ready to make his 31st pitch. And it's ripped back toward the press box. And that's downstairs. 2 and 2 your count. That's bounced foul. Samardzija is a homegrown Cub. He's out of Valparaiso, Indiana. You know the story about him playing college football at Notre Dame. The Cubs drafted him in the 5th round in 2006. To the right side, Rizzo. Race to the bag, and Samardzija just did beat Jason Hayward. And that retired the side. On we go to the 4th inning. Bang, bang play. The good speed of the former Notre Dame wide receiver served him well. He outran Jason Hayward to complete the 3rd inning. We head to the 4th inning, an hour and 7-minute rain delay officially tonight, as the Braves and Cubs meet in Game 2 of their head-to-head series this season. And before Santana begins his 4th inning, let's check him out on the Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard.
He's got 4 of the 26 quality starts the Braves have this year. They're only 1 shy of the Brewers in that category, and that's for both leagues.
Only one team really not represented with what that stat means, and that being Boston. Every other team is the reason why they're in first place or having winning records. You can see those starting staff quality starts are that important.
Well, and the Braves, we've been talking about it since day one. They've been getting great pitching virtually every night.
1 ball, 1 strike to Ryan Kalish.
And you know what's even amazing more for me is that a quality start can be 3 runs, 6 innings. That's a 4.5 ERA. Right? The Braves are doing way better than those typical quality starts. It would be interesting to see if they came up with a new theory or new philosophy on what a quality start is based on what you want as your team or as an individual, your ERA.
Do you like that definition, that I guess numerical boundary for a quality start, the way it's created?
I mean, I get it, but today moving forward, yeah, it's going to be 6 innings is going to be such a great job. I mean, but you can have a quality start through 6 and 7 and 8 innings and blow that in the 9th and end up not with a quality start.
Deep short and no chance for Simmons. Kalish goes the other way. Nice piece of hitting by the Cubs outfielder, who was doubled up in the 1st inning. And that's how the 4th inning begins for the Cubs.
Braves pitchers are #1 in the major leagues in fewest runs allowed, fewest home runs allowed. ERA at 2.74 is the best in the majors. Julio certainly contributed to that last night with his great 8 innings of work.
Anthony Rizzo's the Cubs' first baseman. Runner at first, nobody out. And he shoots one into shallow right field, and Hayward's not going to get there. Kalish is going to try for 3rd. The throw is going to be cut off. And now Simmons might have Rizzo in a rundown. They do. High throw. Check of the runner. Look at the job Rizzo's done. And he's finally tied down.
And he may have hurt Justin Upton, who came in from left field to back up the play. Justin's holding his back after that collision. Rizzo's a big guy.
Tell you what, Chip, I'm going to let you score this one, okay?
6.
This is unbelievable.
3, 4, 6, 3, 6, 7.
That's the most I personally have ever seen from a standpoint of how many people ended up getting involved in that play, and they did not allow the run to score.
Yeah, he didn't even bluff. He never even acted like he was going to try to score, which would have helped Rizzo out. And Justin may have twisted his back or just been knocked off balance when Rizzo hit him. That could have been enough to throw him out of line.
Yeah, I don't think he was anticipating Rizzo, kind of running into him as he sat flat-footed when he received that ball. The Cubs did not help themselves. These are the kind of things, when you're struggling, you need every opportunity with the most chances to score a crooked number, which obviously each pitcher wants to be on the end of that. And they ran themselves into a potential only now with the infield coming in. They could get nothing out of it.
Castro doubled to start the 2nd and was stranded. Infield in for Atlanta. And a big swing and a miss. We've talked at length this year about the amazing splits of the Colorado Rockies and the amazing splits of the Miami Marlins. Starlin Castro would fit in with either one of those ball clubs. He's hitting about 60 points less on the road than he is at the friendly confines in Chicago. .301 batting average at home, .242 on the road.
Notice the Braves playing in here with 1 out in a scoreless game, and some of this may have to do with the weather, not knowing if there's going to be more weather come along.
When we get a chance, and hopefully after this bat, you're going to see why positioning is so important and executing the play from the right fielder to the shortstop to what inevitably becomes the rundown.
Popped into shallow right. Hayward's got a terrific arm. He's there. There's the catch. And the throw is cut off by Freddie Freeman. So Castro can't come through for Chicago. The Cubs have struggled mightily with runners in scoring position this year, and they do again here in the fourth.
Now, when this play is first happening live, the one thing to watch, because the arm that Hayward has, he's going to try to throw him out at third. But watch Andrelton Simmons. He sees that's not going to happen, and he's in position, and Freddie Freeman stayed home. So now they've got him in a rundown, and it's executed almost perfectly with the limited opportunity of men that are in that area, because the catcher's got to stay home, pitcher doesn't know where to go, and then in comes Upton to get the final out.
Valbuena takes the ball low. 1 ball, no strikes.
Ideally, you'd like to do it in fewer throws.
Right.
But the way everybody was spread out for that relay, nobody was where they normally would be, like on a pickoff. So it's kind of like everybody was scrambling to get involved in the rundown, and it took a few more throws than they'd like.
Yeah, in the beginning, the same 3 guys had to stay there. The pitcher couldn't come over. The catcher couldn't come over. Obviously protecting the runner on third. And so it was kind of like a scramble with 3 guys, and they did a great job, at least not allowing the run to score.
And how heads up play was it for Justin Upton to come all the way in from left field to apply the finishing tag?
They say in this game you never really should be stand still on any one play. There's no reason for it, so everybody can find a way to contribute and never assume anything's going to go the way it plans to go.
Can't be a spectator.
Yeah, that rare inside the park home run in New York with the crazy bounce off of Ellsbury, and the veteran Beltran was just kind of sat there watching the ball kick to him, and it was too late by the time he got to it. It was a 3-run inside the park home run, and he admitted later, he said he got caught, just watching a play.
Well, here's Wellington Castillo. Told you earlier how tough this guy has been with 2 outs. A .390 hitter with 2 outs and 12 of his 15 RBIs. The Cubs have runners at first and third here in their half of the 4th inning. That's fouled off Gaddis's gear. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You have a feeling they're going to get him with the slider, but is it on this pitch, or is it after a pitch to get him off the plate a little bit? It's like right here.
And he got him with it. Castillo can't come through for Chicago. And the beat goes on for Jeff Samardzija. No runs of support through 4 innings tonight. Justin Upton with a big tag out. He'll lead off the Atlanta 4th. Upton, Freeman, and Gaddis coming up for Atlanta. They're facing another tough number 29, Jeff Samardzija, for the Cubs. And he's our AT&T Universe trivia question. He's one of 3 Cubs pitchers in the last 10 years with a 200 or better strikeout season. Name the other 2.
That's 10 years. So that's going back to 2004.
Yep.
What year did Mark Pryor get hurt?
I think it was 2004. Up the middle, nothing wrong with Upton's back on that swing. Leadoff man on for the Braves in the 4th inning.
This sounds crazy, but it happens. And that is, if you get dinged a little bit, or if you've got something that's nagging you as a position player, you'd be surprised at how much it helps you control your swing at the plate. You don't overswing. You just get your feet set, let your hands do the work, and you try not to aggravate whatever it is that's bothering you.
Freddie Freeman, the batter. He flied out to right his first time up. So here's Samardzija. Cubs with 2 excellent scoring opportunities already in this ball game that they haven't cashed in. Now he's got to go through the middle of the Atlanta lineup card.
Tell you what, you go through stretches. I don't care who you are. It's almost unavoidable if you play long enough and pitch long enough. You go through stretches where you swear you just sat down and you're back out there again, which means your team's really not having much going on, although that inning a little bit more. But you find yourself looking up going, okay, come on, put up another 0, put up another 0. And he's going through that mode right now.
1 ball, 1 strike for Freeman. But it's got to be frustrating, and I'm sure it is for Samardzija, because you guys are trained to win games, not just to keep your team in the game. Right?
Well, he's gone 13 starts without a win,
right,
since last year. And when you pitch a game like he did against the White Sox his last time out, 9 innings, 3 hits, he gave up 1 unearned run. He walked 2, struck out 7, and threw 126 pitches. He was out there for the long haul, and he got a no decision because it went extra innings.
And he climbed the ladder with Freeman and got him with a 93-mile-an-hour heater.
Now, I was told that tonight to kind of look for him not to be overextended because of that 126 pitch outing, that he may be limited to somewhere around 100 tonight. Well, factor in the rain delay, that may even shorten it even more.
Isn't it funny how when a pitcher throws 125, 126 pitches, it's almost a national scandal?
Oh my gosh.
Gaddis pops one up. And Castillo behind the plate. He'll be called off by Rizzo. Good play by the first baseman. There's the second out. Upton still at first.
Nice play by Rizzo. Good hustle. You know, in that story about the 126 pitches, Chip, I'm told that was more of a media fabrication, that the way the question was posed to Jeff caused kind of an outcry from him, like, you know, I know my body, and, you know, I know how to take care of myself. But that was never anything that was proposed or discussed from anybody in the front office or from Rick Renteria, his manager. It was something that was kind of hinted and thrown out there by someone from the press.
I'm assuming you could, John, feel free to disagree if it's warranted. If Jeff Samardzija was a 21-year-old kid making his 5th major league start and he went out and fired 126 high-stress pitches, would that be a much different story than a guy that's been around as long as he has been?
Most definitely. I think everybody understands the progression of a young player, and certainly, you know, ramping that up that quickly. But look, the simplest fact is not everybody's the same. You can't lop them all into the same numbers, same body frame, same pitch limits, pitch innings. It's just a joke. I don't disagree with having some platforms and some lines to draw in the sand, but not everybody can be the same. And so you can't put Samardzija in the same category as his next pitching teammate. It's just not possible. And so you have to treat everybody differently, and you have to have an accumulation of things to make your decisions, not just some arbitrary number that makes it sound good that you're using it to protect the entire pitching baseball world.
And the knees. Chris Johnson wasn't sure about that particular call. He takes a walk. It's 2-2.
You can see pitch tracks here. Looks like it cut the zone. Andy Fletcher's 2 for 2 on his calls versus complaints.
He went around. Oh, man. Samardzija might have sold that call. He took a couple of steps towards the Cubs dugout. Chris Johnson flips the helmet and bat away in frustration as he's rung up to retire the side in the fourth. As Mike Olt leads things off in the Chicago fifth. And he takes a called strike. Olt's part of the Cubs haul with the Rangers last year when they traded Matt Garza to Texas. Garza then left the Rangers and signed a big money long-term contract with Milwaukee.
Cubs are putting a lot of high hopes on this guy. They really want and need him to be the person they think he is, the player they think he is.
Well, he's certainly got the power figured out with 7 home runs this year. That's the most among rookies in the National League. However, the 190 part is something they'd love to see improvement on. And he went around. Santana strikes out Olt. And for Irvin, that's his second punch out of the game. Excuse me, third strikeout of the game for Santana. I beg your pardon.
That's just a tight slider, Joe, and that's just something hard to lay off as a hitter.
And see, when Olt's with Texas and they're competing for a division title, they don't have the luxury. He doesn't have the luxury of having a team be patient with him hitting $190. Even if he hits 7 homers, they need him to be productive, more productive than that, and hit for a higher average. But the Cubs, different story. They can afford it.
This is Junior Lake. He flied to center to start the Cubs' third inning.
Can I revisit that rundown again just real quick?
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw a rundown start with an outfielder and end with an outfielder?
Like I said, I don't even bother putting it down on my score sheet, but you guys know that's not going to happen anyway. So I applaud you guys for doing that on yours.
Swing and a miss by Junior Lake. 3 strikeouts in a row for Santana. 4 in total now. And here's Samardzija. Look, John, you speak, we listen.
I know.
Brand new whiteout tape.
Boy, I noticed that. And I'll be honest with you, when you guys deliver like that, look, I'm a little bit short on ties if that.
We're listening.
You know, I had to use yours the first time I got here.
Right.
So anyways, just keep that in the back pocket.
You know, if you want to feel like you're in the game, you could put the white out on your fingernails and start giving signs, you know.
That's right. That's what the catchers here have to do. And right now, neither pitcher's having a problem deciding what to throw. I'm impressed with the delay and the comeback for each guy, as they didn't throw a lot of pitches for the delay, but man, these two pitchers are they're showing why their seasons are representative of their ERA, and one's got 3 wins, one's got 3 losses, which doesn't equally share how well they've done.
While it may not be fun to stand in the batter's box against a guy like Santana or Samardzija, these have got to be fun games to pitch in, aren't they?
They are, as long as you can have one good feeling after a while. I mean, you know, that's 13 starts.
Well, how about Santana? He just struck out the side. He's got 5 strikeouts. Samardzija has 5 strikeouts. And nobody has scored a run yet in Atlanta, Georgia. To use here in the bottom of the 5th inning. We are scoreless with B.J. Upton, Andrelton Simmons, and Irvin Santana coming up. Well, John, we listen.
This is unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
I got it. I'm going to make it. Oh, no. Well, like I said, they used that in the fire department video. Drop, stop, and roll, and you could see why. So, they also said there at the end, I look like the San Diego Padres mascot.
Like the Friar?
Yeah, when my hat flew off.
Now, I always wanted to ask you about that play. What were you thinking when that was happening?
Well, I was motioning to Julio, I've got it, and when I went to go get it and extended, I lost my balance, and as I was losing my balance, the only thing I could think of, well, just roll there. It was a 1-run game. I mean, it was late in the game, and when I thought I was going to make, the highlight of every highlight, when I was going to roll over and touch the bag with my glove, I was like 5-7 feet away. Yeah, that's usually what happens.
You had to be so dizzy.
I'm telling you, the way I fell and the way I rolled wasn't exactly kind to my ribs. I mean, see, look, I'm telling him, I got it. Stay there. And I think he's going to stay there, and right there, now I'm done. Because I think I'm going to toss it, and then when I realize he's there, I'm just desperately reaching for the bag.
And you tell us Mark Loretta got hurt on that.
He did. He missed the next 2 months. He was out. He tore his ligaments in his thumb sliding in head first. Because he thought, he could tell, the cat-like reactions that I had right there. He could tell I was going to get to the bag, and he wanted to be safe, but it wasn't so kind to his thumb.
I hate that play more than any other play in baseball. The head first slide.
Yeah. I don't know what possesses anyone to want to go in head first at first base.
It's almost the feeling like you feel like, oh, I'm not going to get there, and the fastest way to get there is to dive towards the bag.
Yeah, he's on a roll too.
Yeah, he's struck out 3 in a row and 4 of the last 5. He's got 7 in total.
So my not prediction, but thought that if they could go 5, they'd both be happy. I don't think they're either one going to be happy coming out.
No, because you know what? Their pitch count is low, so they're going to go a lot farther as long as their pitch count is low and they stay in this groove. And there's a rare chance we're going to see back-to-back strikeouts innings by both pitchers if he gets Santana here. Strike out the side.
53rd pitch. And Santana made contact and rolled to second. Remember, he was skipped in rotation after he bruised his thumb, and that might have gotten in on his hands too. It looked like it was a little painful at the point of contact. Speaking of painful, for your viewing enjoyment, stop, drop, and roll. I'm on fire. Seats. And here's your pitchers comparison. Samardzija and Santana have been scintillating.
You see matchups like this, and really the first 2 games we could see this coming. 2 guys on each side for the first 2 games were on fire, and they've lived up to it, and they have just delivered even with an hour rain delay. It's impressive.
65 pitches for Santana in his 5 innings of work. Gets to face Emilio Bonifacio here in the 6th. No score.
It didn't appear that Santana got jammed on that swing. It looked like a pitch away from him, and I'm sure he's wearing a protective guard on his thumb. But he got rid of that bat pretty fast.
That's why I thought maybe it did jam him as he inside out of the ball to second base.
It's off the end of the bat.
Well, the competitor in him needs to be discarded, as we all wish we could.
Lined and speared by Freeman. And Eric Hinsky, the Cubs first base coach, just looks in the stands in frustration. Had that gotten by, that would have gone for extra bases.
You're playing in on even with the bag here where the guy can bunt and he hits one this hard. You got to be cat quick, to use your description, John.
Well, I like the way certain guys get ready to field a position after a pitch, and he certainly looks like almost a goalie, like in that position where he's got the glove down and prepared for whichever direction he needs to move.
Ryan Kalish, the hitter, he's hit into a double play and he's single.
But the point I was trying to make is that you just got to not swing. Your most important job is to pitch, and if it truly is something that
right back up the middle, Pasternak slides to keep it on the infield, but has no other play.
I got pretty lucky, and I don't know if you guys remember '96. I had a play where I asked my buddy Chipper Jones about, as we watched this replay through the wickets, I asked him about Juan Castro in the 8th inning in LA. I said, what does this guy do? What kind of hitter? He said, just go after him, slap hitter. Threw a fastball, hit it off my wrist, and went into center field, and actually had a fracture in my wrist, my left wrist, but was able to pitch with a small little cast. But for about 3 or 4 days, for games, I just never swung and couldn't swing.
Double play ball hit toward short. The step on the bag and the fire to first takes care of Rizzo and the Cubs. No runs, a hit. Nobody left. Pasternak, Hayward, and Upton coming up in a scoreless duel. Signs of rust for Irvin Santana after not pitching for 9 days. And Freddie Gonzalez was asking him, how much more can you go?
Well, I don't know if he was asking how much, as he was saying, you know, this could be the time, and he was kind of pleading, I can go one more. Let me go one more.
Yeah.
Now, did that work with Bobby and Leo?
Sometimes. I was Bobby's probably worst nightmare, and he'll tell you.
Oh, my. That ball didn't even look like it was inside the batter's box.
Samardzija coming off a big pitch count game against the White Sox.
Going right back to the same place.
But didn't get that call. 1-1 to count. He's been incredibly sharp. He struck out 7, has walked nobody, and has allowed just 2 hits. Guys, I don't know if the Cubs are going to keep Jeff Samardzija or if they're going to move him at the deadline. But I would think this guy would bring a king's ransom of talent back if they decide to move him at the deadline. Toward third. Holt charges and runs to first.
Only if you can get 2 players that will help you right away. You can't go young pitchers betting on the future. This is a guy, if you can't keep him in your rotation for the future, then you've got to get 2 guys that can come right in and play. Because I think with the economics of the way the game's going, and let's face it, it's going to sound bad coming up with the way guys are getting paid for this position and the length of time, you can't blame him for waiting. I mean, everyone's going to see the record's not indicative of dollars being going out. It's the stuff that he has. And guys that are getting 500 career records are getting paid pretty handsomely in this game because of what their potential can be.
And so that's, I guess, the question with Samardzija. As a starting pitcher in his major league career, Jeff Samardzija has 19 wins and 32 losses and an ERA over 4. How much of that is factored into the fact that he's played for a Cubs ball club that has not had any luck at all?
I don't think that has as much to do with it, Chip, as what has he done for you lately? How has he progressed from the time he joined the club as a reliever to what he's been doing as a starter? And this guy has really grown. He's gotten better and better and better.
Well, the greatest example of that is Homer Bailey. In their view, for what a free agent pitcher was going to cost them to go out and sign, he was getting better in their eyes. His ERA had gone down every year. Walks were going down, and right now he's not having that kind of contract year that he's been paid of $100 million. So the bar's been set. And a lot of people will feel the bar's been set way, way too high, but it is what it is. So a guy like him, and I've always said this, it happens in a lot of organizations. If you make bad decisions based on what you're getting for a player, as you mentioned, could help a ball club get over the top, you've got to cash in on those players. They got to help you.
I couldn't agree with you more, John. And it's not, this is not to say that there aren't good players, first and second year players in A-ball, but the Cubs need good, solid players, major league level players to come in and help them now. Somebody that they've seen play for the last 3 or 4 years that they know has already proven themselves either at the AAA level and the borderline big league player, or has established themselves at this level.
Because if you are to believe what the scouting experts say about the Cubs farm system, the one thing the Cubs have in their organization is offensive players. They need pitching. So the question I have is, what's more valuable to the Cubs? A top of the rotation guy and a known commodity who is well appreciated in the locker room, has grown through your organization in Jeff Samardzija, or the unknown and maybe quantity that could grow into quality?
Well, what's going to happen is because they're not close enough, that's why I think they're going to lean towards trying to move him with a year and a half left before the big payday, or starting to be.
First, Upton collided with Rizzo on the base paths and may have tweaked his back, and then Samardzija drills him with 1 out here in the Braves' 6th. Ouch.
Oh boy, that hurt. At the top of the hip. And now he's going to get some attention.
I don't think Upton can continue.
That might have just numbed his whole leg in that spot. Well, he's having trouble going down the steps.
Boom. Right on the point of the hip.
Yeah, right on the top of that hip bone, man. Oh. plate umpire Andy Fletcher's wanting somebody to come out and run.
And it'll be Jordan Schaefer. So Upton smoked by a Samardzija pitch. And now Jordan Schaefer will pinch run.
We were talking at the beginning of the game, guys, in our opening comments, and I said something about breaks are seeming to go, a few breaks are going the Braves' way for a change. I hate to label that as a break, but this guy's been dealing. He's been just setting people down, and he's walked a guy and hit a guy. I hate to label that a break, but maybe it is against a tough pitcher.
And Freddie Freeman, the batter. You might recall, Joe, we talked about this the other night. Remember when Samardzija pitched here, showed that video highlight reel of him? He was just mowing the Braves down, and then late in the ball game changed his pitching pattern and got knocked out. Freeman drives one toward left, and that's going to be playable for Lake, who has it. And there's the second out of the inning as Freeman is 0 for 3.
That's the difference right there. When a guy has good velocity and has been throwing well, and you can tell Freeman, and everyone knows he loves to attack the first pitch. If that pitch is up at all, that ball is damaged and probably threw one. But he made a good enough pitch on the outside part of the plate where it just didn't get to the barrel of the bat. And of course, he just missed it with a fly ball.
So here's Gaddis. Let's see if the Braves catcher can chase home Hayward. We know Evan can hit a fastball. And he got one knee high and called a strike.
The fact that Evan tomahawked 2 high fastballs last night may cause the Cubs to say, hey, we need to get the ball down on this guy. And if they do, that's playing right into his wheelhouse.
That one missed outside. Samardzija very economical, 68 pitches. He has struck out 7. He's walked 1, and he's hit a batter. He's in some 6th inning trouble here with 2 out. Swing drive, left center field. Lake on the run. He got there.
It looked like a snow cone, too.
Gaddis hit it right on the button, but Lake tracked it down to break the Braves' hearts in the 6th inning. How close did this come from sneaking out of the leather? Pretty close. Six in Atlanta tonight. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day with Joe Simpson John Smoltz and Tom Hart, Chip Carey from Turner Field. Middle game of our series between the Braves and Cubs. Evan Gattis just missed driving home the game's first run, but a fine running catch by Junior Lake robbed him in left field.
Well, I thought that was at least over his head, if not a home run. But there's so much nitrogen in the air right now after a heavy rain that ball just doesn't carry as well.
So let's see if this is indeed Ervin Santana's final inning of work. He's into the 7th. Remember, we were delayed an hour and 7 minutes after 2 innings of play with a heavy rain delay. And Ervin has been very economical too. He's thrown just 74 pitches so far tonight.
Something psychological, if indeed we've all been there. A pitcher begs for that one extra inning to not grind it out so bad, as if you're stretching for that one inning. You know, you try to make it like it's no big deal, but there's something about knowing this is going to be your last inning, and it's more mental than it is anything else, that you want to finish obviously what you started with zeros.
To the left side, Chris Johnson scoops and throws on the run. Castro's retired. There's the first out in the 7th inning.
Because in a normal game they wouldn't even be asking him. It's only 77 pitches, so you're cruising. You're thinking, you know, to 9 innings. But because of the circumstances, and because Freddie is wanting to be cautious for obvious reasons on a man that he hopes to make 30 starts for him, you got to take that precaution.
Valbuena takes high, 1 ball, no strikes.
I like watching him pitch. I enjoy every one of his starts. I like his tenacious look when he's out there, the focus that he has. He's not a nonsense guy, but he had a good time with Bartolo Colon when they were hooked up in a matchup one night. He just seems to really enjoy pitching.
This is where you grind out each pitch mentally, knowing, okay, I'm just going to make the next pitch. I'm just going to get one pitch at a time here, and then you can get to the dugout. He really has done a great job. That front side is so important in every pitcher, but he's not pulling off. He's not getting underneath. He's been staying on plane. He's like right straight forward, back straight, going to the home plate, and all his pitches are showing it.
That was tipped and caught by Evan Gattis. Valbuena is out number 2.
And see, that's the side we talked about, the arm side slot of a fastball. That's the side where you really got to stay patient, because if you pull off at all towards first, that ball's going to sail, and it's not going to get where it even looks inviting for an umpire to call a strike, yet the hitter to swing at it.
And still had a little life on it.
Yeah.
A little tailing action. Careful here on the first pitch. This guy may try to ambush an effort by Ervin to get ahead.
And a wise pitch over the outside corner, a strike.
It looked like he was kind of taking. I'm really surprised. I thought he would really, with 2 outs, be trying to jump on one.
Now Santana a strike away.
But see, the key to Santana is the fact that he can throw a low fastball that gets called for a strike, and then he'd get a lot of guys to swing at that slider. He doesn't start the slider higher. It's almost right there with the plane of the fastball where the hitter's eyes last remember, okay, that's where that pitch was.
Whoa, up and in.
And then every once in a while you can change the eye level of the hitter with a high firm fastball, but he pitches so well off of his fastball. That's what makes him difficult for a hitter to lock in.
There's one of the few times he did fly open.
Strike 3 call. And Castillo, no argument. What a job by Irvin Santana. He sends this game to the 7th inning stretch, and still no score.
Was presented by Georgia Power and the Home Depot.
What a game. Hour plus rain delay tonight. It didn't dampen the pitching efforts from both starters tonight. The game will be in the hands of the bullpens as we move to the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, it's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
The night is done for Jeff Samardzija. He went 6 innings after his 126 pitch effort last time out against the White Sox. And a name fraught with danger takes the mound for Chicago. It's right-hander Brian Schlitter.
Well, 6'5", pitches out of the stretch, easy delivery. He's got a fastball, sinker action, and an 83-mile-an-hour slider that has a downward action. And it's the era of the pitchers with hair. How envious I am.
Me too.
Two of the best right now, Samardzija and
that's 2 lifetimes worth for you, pal.
You know what I'd like you to do, and we'll all know who you're talking about. Just say, this guy. Or that guy.
This guy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or Brian.
Big guy.
The Cubs pitcher. Chris Johnson leads off the home 7th. He's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
Glad he doesn't have a splitter.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid. Hitting the jackpot, Chris Johnson, last 4 games. Man, oh man, he's been good. 4 for 4 with runners in scoring position too.
Popped up, shallow center, big swing, long run. It's going to drop in safely, and Chris Johnson has another hit. He couldn't have walked out and placed the ball in a better spot. And no chance for Valbuena and company to get there.
Well, this is pretty much thinking, oh, here comes a fastball, and it doesn't. It's a little tiny slider, and it hits off the end of the bat. Valiant effort, but
yeah, Valbuena almost got that. Let's see how Freddie Gonzalez plays it here. Got a good bunter up there.
Upton looking for some good fortune at the plate in the series. He is so far 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. He's bunting, and it is a good one. And there is only one play, and it's made to first. Sacrifice 1-3. Chris Johnson in scoring position for Andrelton Simmons. Good work by B.J. Upton.
Just because you're not hitting doesn't mean you can't help the team win offensively by doing things like this. That was a great bunt by B.J. And it comes at a time in the order where you say, well, the pitcher spot was 2 spots away. Well, not here, because Santana's coming out of the game, and you're going to have the luxury of selecting a pinch hitter to jump in there in that spot.
Andrelton 0 for 2 tonight. He's popped out and struck out. Sharply hit and through. Johnson was breaking back towards second base, and he'll stop at third. First and third for Atlanta with 1 out.
He made the right move, the right base running play, but it's a shame because it was so close to Olt that Olt made a diving effort for it. That's what caused Chris to have to freeze. You don't want to run into an out at third base. You got to make the ball go through, and that's why he's only at third base. If it wasn't that close to Olt and one that he just kind of moves to his left on, maybe Chris has a chance to score.
Now a fly ball of reasonable depth could put the Braves in front, and the entire Cubs infield will meet on the mound to discuss defensive strategy here.
I'm a little surprised. I mean, Domit's been in the on-deck circle, and he's a switch hitter. So it's just a matter of you want him to hit left or right. But they just got Russell up, who's left-handed. There's some more hair down there.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing here, of course, besides stalling, to your point, against left-handers, he does not have a batting average yet.
First and third for Doman, and way outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
I like him here because he's a veteran guy off the bench. He's been here and done this in pressure situations for the Pirates and Twins. You know he'll be patient to get a good pitch.
Ball slicing away from Lake, deep left, hit the wall, hits high off the fence. Johnson scores. Simmons streaks towards third. He'll stand there. It's a pinch hit double for Doman, and the Braves lead.
Junior Lake came out with a great play off the bat of Evan Gaddis last inning. He couldn't haul this one in. This ball was hit a ton the other way. Down and away, and he went with it. Almost hit it out of the park.
Yeah, just below the yellow.
So Schlitter has had a rough 7th inning. A single, a sacrifice, another single, and then the Doma double. Chris Bosio is the Cubs pitching coach. And the lineup card now turns to the 9th spot, where Tyler Pastornicki will stand in. Braves have broken through.
And don't forget, this makes Ervin Santana the pitcher of record, too.
And for Jeff Samardzija, the Cubs starter, no run support in his 6 innings.
An old Bobby Cox move here. Meeting on the mound, runner at third, less than 2 out. Good runner at the plate. Oftentimes you'd see a squeeze, and Won't be surprised if Freddie puts one on here too, even with the infield in.
A lot of moisture on that infield too. Wet baseball. Who knows what could happen. Masternicki 0 for 2. No sign of a bunt. Strike one called. Top of the hour in the bottom of the 7th inning. Braves have struck for the game's first run.
That's a huge run at third, and the two of them at second and third would be gigantic. Looked like the bearded right-hander was trying to wait him out to see if he was going to show any signs of a bunt.
Second go round with the Cubs for Brian Schlitter. He made the opening day roster, was optioned back to Iowa April 12th. Then came back on April 26th. No balls and a strike. Pitch out just in case something was on. Now it's even. Now it's on, and Pasternak got it down. What a play by Tyler! Love it. Schlitter tried to throw that ball right across his shoe tops, it appeared, and somehow Pasternak got the bat to the ball.
You don't get to play very often. You're in there in a close ball game and you do something to help your team win. There's just not a better feeling in the world for Tyler on a tough pitch to bunt.
Well, the timing of that play was perfect. You don't tip your hand with the runner leaving too soon, which allows the pitcher to either throw it at you or in the ground or pitch out. So the timing with this disguised play was, it's indefensible if you do it right.
Rick Renteria is the Cubs manager. He'll go take the ball from Mr. Schlitter.
Proud of him.
Hope we don't have to see him till July. 2 runs are in on 3 hits. 2-0 Atlanta to score. In close games, little things mean a lot, and a lot of good little things led to the second Atlanta run.
Yeah, this is just, again, perfectly executed. You don't have to be great with where you put the ball. You just have to hit the ball.
Just got to get it down. And great call, great timing wise for Freddie Gonzalez. They hadn't shown the squeeze before that pitch. There was a pitch out. Could have been on that one after the meeting on the mound with the catcher and the pitcher. And Freddie's choice of pitches was just perfect.
And obviously it was the glove's fault for Schlitter, who turns things over to James Russell, who's in his 13th game out of Chicago's bullpen.
And you see a lot of walks there. 6 walks in 6 2/3 innings. Obviously a left-handed specialist. 12 games and only 6+ innings pitched.
And if you were to pick out another reason why the Cubs are 12-22 this year, their relief corps guys has walked only 8 fewer men in 106 fewer innings
than their starters.
Yeah. Wow. 59 walks by their starters, 51 by their relievers. Got a medical update on Justin Upton. We'll pass that along after the pitch to Hayward, and it's outside. A lower back muscle contusion.
He got nailed with that pitch. Almost makes you wonder if trying to just turn to get out of the way, if it aggravated whatever happened when he had the collision with Rizzo too. Not that 95 on the hip bone would make you feel any better.
And here's Russell very quickly behind Hayward, a left-handed hitter. 3 balls, no strikes. We got another one in the on-deck circle in Jordan Schaefer. He's the man that replaced Upton in the Braves lineup in the 6th.
Real small zone here if you're Jason.
It wasn't. Now a full count.
Yeah, he throws you the kitchen sink. Fastball almost becomes a show pitch. He likes the cutter, slider, curveball.
That was a heck of a 3-1 slider there. That it broke late. Jason does a fastball out over the plate.
Popped up. And at second, Valbuena says he's got it. And he does. Russell cleans up the mess in the 7th inning. Atlanta scores twice off Brian Schlitter. And we move to the 8th. It's Atlanta 2-0. Nicky with a sacrifice squeeze brought home a second Atlanta run, And that's where we stand going to the 8th inning, and the Braves are in their bullpen with David Carpenter coming on in relief of Irvin Santana, who was brilliant tonight in his 7 innings of work.
Well, the last 2 nights they've been outstanding, both Tehran and Irvin Santana. Unfortunately, Tehran got no decision last night after the blown save in the 9th inning, but followed up tonight by Irvin Santana with 9 days rest, came back and pitched brilliantly. And you take a look at their lines from the last 2 nights. How about this? 15 innings, they've given up 1 run. 16 strikeouts in those 15 innings and just 3 walks. Brilliant work by those 2 guys.
Now we hope for brilliant work out of Ramiro Pena at second base. He checks in for Tyler Pasternicki, and David Carpenter on the mound with the bottom part of the Cubs order up. Holt, Lake, and then we'll see. And a quick strike. If you're scoring at home with us, Pena will hit 8th. Carpenter will hit 9th.
It's a pretty good combination that the Braves can throw at you with the power arms. I know Walden just went on the DL.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we discussed that.
Hamstring problem sent Jordan to the DL today, and Thomas was brought back from AAA Gwinnett.
Carpenter's going to rush it up there. Good slider, firm fastball, and he'll be the bridge to Kimbrel.
Holt swings through it, misses a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. There's out number 1. As always, our friends at Delta Airlines are proud sponsors of the Atlanta Braves. And Joe, it's obvious that Mac Honey was watching the game last night. Got the light bulbs.
He's a man of action. Last night, this part of the A was not working. We said Mac needed to get some light bulbs before the trip. And look, the A is working today in full glory. Way to go, Mac.
Now get to work on the lettuce trays for our departure tomorrow. Here's Junior Lake.
That used to be fun for me.
What?
The telestrator.
Yeah.
You can use this.
No, they banned me from it. They banned me from it.
Oh, they did?
It just.
That works?
Yeah. I mean, I messed it up.
Well, you become like a preschooler and you just can't leave it alone.
Pretty much.
Well, let's just say in the history of Fox Sports, we've had a few telestrator issues of our own, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Chris Coughlin's on deck for the Cubs as Junior Lake's the batter. And Carpenter bumps over another strike. It's 1-2. Well, what did you draw on the telestrator that got you in trouble?
It wasn't so much got me in trouble. I think it just became, all of a sudden every time I was in the booth they said it didn't work from that point on.
Oh, inside out swing by Lake, and inside the first base bag fair. And now Coughlin will be called back by the Cubs as they'll bring the potential tying run to the plate.
This is just tip your hat. Swing late on a fastball and he gets a hit. Not much you can do about where the position.
And most of the time that's a double. Good hustle by Jason to get over there and hold him to a single.
So it'll be Nate Schierholtz, not Coughlin. Schierholtz got the start last night. Was hitless in 4 tries. No homers, 10 RBIs. For the man that spread a lot of right field for Chicago this year.
Okay, if you must know, Chip, there was a guy behind home plate. He had a cigar, and obviously you can't smoke a cigar. He just had it. It wasn't lit, and I drew a bunch of smoke and a bunch of different. And then it stayed on there for a few pitches, and the ball went right through one of the smoke signals.
You haven't mastered the clear button?
I tried. It just.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in his defense that we've got a wonderful new telestrator here that you put something on the board and got a button, and man takes it off right away. There are some clear buttons that are kind of hard
hidden
to deal with.
Yeah, they're just in the bottom left corner, and you got to search for it.
Kind of find it.
No balls and a strike. Now, do you feel confident enough, John, in this 2-0 game late to take a step into the telestrator world again?
I'm not ready to get back in the water yet. I'm just gonna ease my way into it. I'm gonna wait for a game that's just well more in hand.
Okay.
But I appreciate the offer. Get me back on the horse, guys.
It's here when you're ready.
Swing and a miss. I mean, that would be a perfect pitch to telestrate.
Yeah. Now I can use my articulate skills and telestrate it with simple words like, he just blew that ball by him.
I don't know of a better way to describe it.
Good crowd tonight on a rainy night in Georgia. 30,658 paid attendance. A scoreless duel through 6.5 innings. The Braves with 2 in the 7th. Carpenter trying to set it up for Kimbrel for the 9th. As Bonifacio looks high. He's 1 for 3, but has stung the ball twice. First inning single, and then that line drive speared by Freddie Freeman in the top of the 6th.
That was leading off the inning, too. That was at least a double and quite possibly a triple for him.
Well, when it's going good for one guy and not for the other, Santana got out of 2 jams that easily the Cubs could have plated 1 run each time. Matter of fact, could have been first and third, nobody out. The rundown made it man on third, 1 out. But twice man on third, 1 out. 2 pop-ups did not get the runner in. And hence the guy on the other side pitches just equally as well. And of course he comes away again without any support. At least he didn't get a decision in this case.
Yeah, that would have been. He didn't deserve to lose, that's for sure.
1 ball, 1 strike. So Samardzija now 9 earned runs in 56 innings. He came in with a 1.62 ERA. So that'll drop significantly for the Cubs righty. And Santana tonight, 7 innings of shutout ball. That means Santana's given up 9 runs in 40 2/3 for the Braves.
It was what we expected.
Yeah.
With an hour rain delay in between, and they both stuck around and pitched 5 more innings apiece, roughly.
Lake with the lead at first. You see Freeman holding him on. Bonifacio. The Cubs switch hitting center fielder down to his last strike. And Carpenter blew it right by him. Bonifacio slams the helmet down. The Cubs' offensive frustrations continue in Atlanta tonight. And here's your Delta Airlines on deck trio in the 8th, looking for some late insurance. inning. And time for our AT&T Universe trivia question. Jeff Samardzija is one of 3 Cubs pitchers in the last 10 years with a 200 or better strikeout season. Can you name the other 2?
Brian Dempster. I'm gonna
I stole my thunder. I was going to say Dempster, and then I'll go with Kerry Wood.
I'll say Carlos Zambrano.
Oh, good.
And I'm going to say Dempster. Those are our answers. Carlos Zambrano.
Way to go, gents.
Stan Hack yesterday. Pose. Jordan Schaefer will lead off against Justin Grimm, the latest Cubs pitcher. Big swing and a miss.
From the University of Georgia boy. Low to mid 90s fastball. Slider and curve.
He was part of that Garza deal with the Texas Rangers. Mike Holt, C.J. Edwards, Justin Grimm, and Neil Ramirez for Garza. Originally a 5th round pick by Texas in 2010. He started 17 games for the Rangers last year. Went 7-7 with a high ERA.
So sure what ticked off Garza so much to make the comments he's made when pitching against the Cubs, and then of course openly coming out and talking about Samardzija and what he should be doing and pitching his way out of Chicago.
That's high. 3 balls and a strike.
Outside looking in at that, I'll bet he and Samardzija were good friends. And maybe he was just saying, you know, I'm out. He needs to pitch his way out, trying to make a comment that might somehow help Jeff move along.
Make it privately.
Yeah, right.
And he's pretty pitch. Full count.
Or better yet, do it on Twitter. Everybody else does.
Yeah. Well, not me and you.
It's true. Stay brave.
Fly ball, shallow center. Bonifacio is going to catch that. Jordan Schaefer is retired.
But as we promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T.
You see, I like that. Good jersey.
Yeah. No hat.
Looking sharp. No hat. Got their white and their gray jerseys on.
Here's Freddie Freeman. John, Joe, and I think are of a mind when it comes to the Braves uniforms. We both love the old, I guess, royal blue and white uniforms the Braves wore back in the 70s, with the feather on the side of the jersey top, the V-necks. I would love to see that uniform as a button-down version rather than the pullover style.
Right.
I just think that's a beautiful major league unit. Broken bat. Freeman pops this up to short. That bat exploded. And the barrel ends up in the grass between first and second. And it made a divot too. One more game left on the homestand with the Cubs. Plenty of tickets available. We hope you'll join us for the finale here tomorrow. As always, all summer long, we have Georgia Lottery, Friday night fireworks, kids run the bases on Sundays, post-game concerts, bobblehead giveaways, and more. Check out the entire Braves promotion schedule at Braves.com today.
I'm just sad we don't get to see socks anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love this uniform that they incorporated last year. Kind of has some old style flair to it, but I miss socks too.
Pant leg going over the back of the shoe. I'm waiting for someone to trip. Not that I want him to. I'm just waiting for it.
Gaddis missed the slider. No balls, 2 strikes, and you hear Grimm's friends and family below us at the ballpark.
You can. All the leggings now go straight down to the shoes for the most part, except for Hunter Pence and a few guys that are still rocking it old school. I like the 2-in-1 stirrups that I used to support.
Oh yeah. Growing up in St. Louis and watching the Cardinals play, if you're a casual fan and you saw Vince Coleman and Willie McGee with the stirrups pulled up razor thin all the way to the top of the knee, they just looked fast, and they were fast. One-two pitch, and a fly ball hit to right. That'll be playable for Kalish, and Grimm has a successful, perfect 8th inning here in Atlanta. Braves lead the Cubs 2-0. A chance for redemption for Craig Kimbrell. He'll try to close it down in the 9th inning. And have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up for Chicago. Kalish, Rizzo, and Castro. Game on the line for Atlanta. Braves trying to win this series outright when we come back. Complete the shutout of the Cubs and win the series outright. Time for our cold hard facts this evening. They're brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Well, you can see the Braves have at least a winning record in 2 of those categories, 3-3 in 2-run games. And as is the case with so many other big league clubs, if you don't score more than 2 runs, you're not going to have much of a chance to win.
Yeah, but that's impressive. I mean, to be 5-10. I don't know many teams that are going to have 5 wins with 2 runs or less. So, I mean, again, glass half full, half empty. Wherever you want to land that plane, the Braves are in a better position with the fact that their offense has not kicked it into gear for any real big long stretch.
So, John, a topic of conversation last night was the so-called short memory of a closer. Kimbrell blew the save last night. Wasn't entirely his fault. Costly error allowed the Cubs to tie the game. And here's some of the same characters for Chicago in the 9th, but this time with a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, it's ideally you want to come out the next night. That is the perfect situation. And although it's not a 1-0 game, the game is a 2-0 game. And getting the last 3 outs of every big league game to finish a game has its pressures and toughness. And so when you have a bad memory, you're going to be more successful.
3 pitches, 3 fastballs, better location. Last night I thought he got away from the fastball, but mostly because he didn't have much command of it.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and a flinch behind the plate by Andy Fletcher, but no call. 2-2.
That's, I mean, more times than not, this has got a chance to be a strikeout. You see he hits right there. That's maybe the top edge of the box, but
little squibber out to short. Simmons, bare hand, fires to first, and got his man. What a play.
this is just about no chance when he first hit it. But what a play to get it bare hand and fire it on plane. Oh.
Best of the game.
Lots of spin, wet ball, charging in, and Simmons gets Kalish for the big first out. Now Rizzo the hitter. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Anthony's a called strike.
Yeah, and back to that error last night by Justin. I don't think it had anything to do with the run scoring. I don't think he had a play at the plate. It did allow that other runner to get into second base, but the hit by Kalish was going to get the run in anyway.
So Kimbrel last night, a run on 2 hits and a walk.
Sure got quiet here.
As Rizzo got the breaking ball for strike 2 call.
Maybe everybody wants to hear the hiss of that fastball.
They just did. 97 miles an hour.
Well, he's got a good one. And ability to throw it for strikes is getting more and more of the common, and that's when he's going to have hitters being more aggressive early and less likely to work the count for a potential walk.
Ball 1 to shortstop Starlin Castro.
Straight hooks.
So it's 1 of 2 choices for Castro, and neither one of them are real good behind 0-2. 1-2, I should say. 13th pitch of the inning. And a late swing and a laser into the seats. The 2-2 pitch. Just missed.
That was a pretty good pitch, but Evans' target was up a little bit, and the fact that he had to go down to get it may have cost him, because that was a good pitch.
No need to rush here. Throw it right down the middle, see what happens.
He didn't, and Castro walks on a breaking ball. And with 2 outs, the Cubs again will bring a potential tying run to the plate. Valbuena has grounded out, walked, and struck out.
I'll tell you what I like that not a lot of teams do. They're holding him on, and that's really what should happen. Never let a guy get to second base. Even though the run doesn't mean anything, don't let anybody get to second base to even tip off the hitter on location of pitches or anything. So now might be a different rule with 2 strikes, but
or cause a problem when the catcher's having to go through a series of signs that may cause a wild pitch or something worse.
That pitch was called a strike. It wasn't on the check swing. Now it's 0-2 for Valbuena. There's the breaking ball in the game. Kimbrel back on the beam, and the Braves have shut out the Cubs 2-0. Tonight's final score. Irvin Santana was brilliant. 7 shutout innings, and the Braves beat the Cubs bullpen and win the series outright.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.